Matt, can you go on the next slide? The team working closely with the Director of Placements oversees all aspects and is mostly responsible for ensuring a seamless and effective placement process. Next slide. We are honored to welcome the Joint Chairpersons, Mr. Aditya Jain and Mr. Jignesh Sawant, the Joint Vice Chairpersons, Ms. Vedika Rane, Ms. Ritika Rathod, and Ms. Disha Pandya, and the Senior Advisors of the Placement Cell, Ms. Aryaa Shah and Ms. Sanya Jain. Next slide. I would now like to introduce the core team. Corporate heads, Ms. Yumi Sangvi, Ms. Ridhima Upadhyay, Ms. Niharika Kotai. Student heads, Mr. Gaurav Gurnani, Ms. Bhumika Chabria, and Mr. Neil Jain. Documentation and research heads, Ms. Jennifer David, Ms. Mehak Kukreja, and Ms. Khushi Malpani. Moving on, I would now request the speakers to take the session forward and enlighten the students about the rules and regulations to be followed throughout the final placement season.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am Vedika Rane, the Vice Joint Chairperson of the Placement Cell. So before we commence with the session, I want to mention that this session is specially designed to help you understand the entire final placement process, right from the pulse sessions to getting a placement. We are also going to explain you all the intricacies of the final placement policy in details. And by the end of this session, a lot of the queries will be resolved. So I request everyone to stay back, make sure your all queries regarding the final placement process are resolved. And please feel free to ask any questions. You can just put them in the chat box. Lastly, I would like everyone to turn on their cameras, and I hope you have a great session. Okay, so as you all know, the placement season begins in the late August with the pulse sessions, which my team will explain to you in detail later. So in the next few days, we will be sending a proper company schedule for all the prospective companies coming on board to all the registered students on their email address. In this schedule, there will be a list of companies mentioned along with the profiles they're offering, dates on which they're going to conduct their process, and the mode of process. This schedule will be updated with new on-campus companies as and when we onboard them. So the timeline of the placement cell for third-year placements goes like this. From August to October, we will have the on-campus final placement process phase 1. Post Diwali, that is from November onwards, we will start with our off-campus final placements along with the phase 2 of on-campus placement. And this phase 2 will continue till the end of this academic year, that is till March. Now, the major difference between on-campus and off-campus placements is that in on-campus placements, all the relevant job details are confirmed by our team with the company before being shared with you. This includes everything from the dates of pre-placement talk to the final interviews. Also, if there are any changes or updates from the company, that all will be communicated to you promptly via email. On the other hand, in off-campus placement, the companies coordinate directly with the students and the entire placement process is managed by the company at their own pace. The placement cell is not involved except for receiving updates about any shortlisted or selected students. However, do not assume that off-campus companies are not good or they are not well-known brands. Many off-campus companies are well-reputed firms. Like, in fact, last year, the highest package which was offered during final placements was from an off-campus company. Mehak, can you change the slide? Yeah. So moving ahead, let's quickly go through the key steps in the final placement process. So it starts with the registration process in which all the interested students are allowed to register for the final placements. Post that, you will be attending the pulse sessions to understand the various aspects of the process and refine your skills. Next, whenever a particular company will be circulated to you, you need to carefully read the job description and their requirements and apply to the companies you're genuinely interested in. Finally, you will undergo the selection process in which if you get selected, then a job offer will be rolled out to you by the company. Further, Ritika would be taking ahead with the pulse session part.
Good evening, everyone. I am Ritika Rathod, Vice Joint Chairperson of the Placement Cell, and I would be talking about pulse sessions. So these sessions are conducted specially for the third year students by experienced industry professionals so as to build confidence and groom us for the challenges we might face during our final placements. So there are a total of 6 sessions, with the first one held yesterday on resume drafting by Naveen sir. The session helped us understand how to correctly draft a resume ensuring that we present ourselves in the best possible light. Today's orientation is all about understanding the final placement process along with the placement rules for this year. Looking ahead, we have some exciting and valuable sessions lined up. So the third session is on interview preparation by Mr. Satya Pradhan, where he would share some tips and strategies to help us nail those interviews. Then Ms. Soumya Ranjan will be taking us through soft skills development, focusing on communication, teamwork, and all other skills that are key to success in our career. We would also have Mr. Ashish Ferwani talking about career in consulting, giving us insights into consulting world. And finally, Mr. Manish Punjabi will lead a session on LinkedIn networking, where we would learn about how to build a strong professional network and make the most of LinkedIn for our careers. A detailed schedule of this session has already been sent to you on your registered email IDs, so please make sure to check it out. Also, let me make this thing very clear that it's compulsory for every student registered for final placement phase 1 to attend these sessions. Missing on them could lead to the student getting debarred from the process. The criteria for being marked as a defaulter and the conditions under which a student might get debarred will be explained in greater detail in the meeting later. Now, Arya would take this forward with common steps in selection process.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Aryaa Shah, the Senior Advisor of the Placement Cell. So today I'll guide you through the selection process for the campus placements. The process typically begins with a pre-placement talk. In this session, the company will provide an overview of its history, mission, work culture, job roles, career opportunities, and benefits. They'll also outline the selection criteria and what they seek in the candidates. So it's important to pay close attention to these details as they'll help you understand the role and tailor your preparations accordingly. It is also an opportunity to ask questions and clarify any uncertainties that you might have. One key element of the selection process is the aptitude test. So this test evaluates your quantitative skills, logical reasoning, data interpretation, and sometimes also includes psychological and technical questions. So it's crucial to prepare thoroughly as this test significantly influences your chances of advancing further in the process. Another common assessment method is a group discussion. Here, the companies assess your attention to detail, listening skills, communication abilities, and how you handle pressure. You will be given a topic to discuss with a group, and the evaluators will observe your contributions, clarity of thought, and articulation. Following this, there will be multiple interview rounds. The number of rounds may vary from company to company, and these interviews aim to assess both your technical and non-technical skills. So prepare by thoroughly reviewing your subject knowledge, your resume, and your relevant experiences. Be ready to discuss how your background aligns with your job role, and practice the common interview questions while maintaining a professional demeanor. Each stage of the selection process evaluates different aspects of your ability. So by understanding and preparing for each phase, you can significantly enhance your chances of success in securing a position. Let's now move on to the next topic. Next slide.
Good evening. This is Disha Pandya, the Vice Chairperson of the Placement Cell, and I will be discussing some of the key points which everyone needs to keep in mind. As final placement season approaches, it is necessary for everyone to follow some key rules which will make the process easy for you, companies, as well as us. So I request all of you to kindly keep in mind all the points and ensure each of them are followed. So the first point is that only bona fide third year students are eligible. So as all of you are in the third year, we all are eligible. But in the past, we have come across many cases in which people have shared the form to their friends from different colleges and etc. and asked them to fill up the form. Please remember that if we find any such example, not only will you be debarred, but will have strict actions taken against you. Also keep in mind the students who failed their second year exams are not eligible to apply for the third year process. Second, always keep an eye on your spam and junk folder as there are chances the mail sent might go to your junk folder. This might include the schedule of the pulse session, a company that you're looking forward to register, or even the news of your selection. So make sure to check the junk folder often. Third, one should strictly abide by the deadlines given by the placement cell. So if any one of you miss the deadline due to any given reasons, we won't be able to help or extend the deadline. Missing deadlines will result in not only your loss but your chance to apply or to a certain company. We cannot in any circumstances extend the deadline for anyone. So kindly don't come at us later asking for extending any deadline. Fourth, confirm your presence by acknowledging to the mail sent. You should reply on the same email thread that the mail is sent to you. So if you receive any kind of mail which requires your acknowledgement, kindly acknowledge it by replying to the same thread within the deadline. This makes it easier for us to keep a record of the student that will be present for a particular session or a process. Fifth, kindly follow the prescribed dress code compulsorily. This means that each and every one of you should follow the dress code that is mentioned. No jeans and t-shirts will be allowed. For boys, no sandals will be allowed, and for girls, no open-toe shoes will be allowed. As you all know, the first impression is generally the lasting impression. So make sure you present yourself neatly and professionally during the first session and as well as final placement process. If any of you don't have a pair of formals, I'll highly recommend each and every one of you to get at least one pair of formals, as you all will be needing it during the process and might as well later in your life. Moving on, all the information provided should be accurate. We should not find any false information regarding any of the information you provided to be untrue. This will result in debarring of the student. If you have any doubts, make sure it is conveyed first instead of filling false information. Secondly, all important documents are needed to be in order in the day of process. If anyone is applying to a particular company, one should have all intentions of joining a company. You cannot say that I didn't want this company or I had no intentions of joining an XYZ company. If you're registering, make sure you have all intentions. Also carry all the documents necessary in order during the time of placement. During on-campus placement, the documents you bring will make the process easy for you. And during the off campus, make sure the documents are ready as well as everything is done. During on campus, the company will be on college and it will be easier for them to check your documents. During off campus, when you reach their location, make sure the documents are ready there too. Thirdly, be present before time. Make sure you are 5 to 15 minutes early before the process so that there is no confusion for us or you during the process. This will ensure a safe time for you all to prepare and for us to make sure that the process is carried out smoothly. Further, ensure stable network during virtual process. This might include your pulse session, your aptitude test, etc. So make sure that wherever you all are, there is a stable internet connection. Because if any one of you miss anything due to poor network connection, we won't be able to do anything because we will neither be able to reschedule it nor help you apply again. So make sure that network is working properly. Lastly, go through the process of the company you've applied for mandatorily. One should apply for a particular company only after going through the entire process. We should not get excuses such as I didn't know that this would take place or that I'm not here or is it possible to conduct this online or etc. Make sure that you are available throughout the company's process that you applied for. Concluding these points, I'll now ask Sanya to carry forward the same.
Thank you, Disha. Good evening, everyone. I am Sanya Jain, the Senior Advisor of the Placement Cell. I will be continuing the remaining key points to remember from our placement policy, deregistration. So there are companies which may allow you to deregister after the pre-placement talk, which is informed beforehand. But this is very rare and extreme option. So take an informed decision and take all factors into consideration before applying for a company. Communicate any doubt regarding job specifications during the pre-placement talk or interviews. So during both of these processes, you get the opportunity to ask your doubts to the company representatives. If you ask these doubts, we may not be able to answer them completely because the company knows the profile specifications and the job they are offering better. So it is a suggestion that you clear your doubts during the interview and the pre-placement talk itself. Next point. Next is a very important point, so kindly pay attention. One placement offer per student. So student can apply in as many companies as they want. But once they are selected in a company and the offer is rolled out to them, then they have to accept that opportunity. And if they reject that offer, then they will not be provided any other placement opportunity by us. For us, if a student is placed by any company, then their placement is done. Because we have many students to offer placements and we cannot give more than one opportunity to one student.
So it is compulsory for the student to accept the offer if one is selected in the company. If you reject that offer, then no reason shall be entertained regarding that. Now, kindly moving on to the next point. Do not directly contact the company or any of its representative. So during any ongoing process, you can communicate with the companies, obviously, but other than that, you are not allowed to go separately contact the company or representatives via mail or via LinkedIn, because we are the link between you and the company, and we are communicating with them. So any general doubts can be communicated through us to the company, but you cannot directly contact the company or the representative. The next point, be respectful and maintain decorum while communicating. This is applicable to the company representatives as well as the placement cell team members. We are working for your placements. So even we deserve respect, and you have to be polite and calm with us. If there is a time gap between the two processes and you want to receive an update but haven't received yet, we know that well, and we are constantly following up with the company because we know its importance as well. So be mindful and patient about it while communicating with our team members and as well as the company. That goes without saying. The next point, accept the offer on mail within the stipulated deadline. So once a student is selected, we mail them to give us the confirmation regarding the acceptance of the offer within a given deadline. Sometimes there is an offer letter attached with it, which needs to be signed and mailed back to us. So all this should be done within a proper time frame. Any delay will not be tolerated in that. The next point, remain on campus till the process is going on. Now, when offline processes is conducted in college, before we say you can go, you cannot, because the company process is still going on and there might be on-time changes, on-ground changes when you might be needed. So you have to be on campus. Now, the next point, attach the latest an updated resume with the registration forms circulated in the respective companies. There are times when students have uploaded outdated resume and requested to replace that with the updated one. But by the time that happens, the resumes are already sent to the company and they have already shortlisted students based on that. So to avoid losing opportunities like this, we suggest that you all keep updating your resume. The next point, any request for rescheduling of the process will not be entertained. So if you have not attended a process for any reason, there are high chances that most companies also don't have much time to give to one college for placements. The dates of the process will be mentioned in the registration mail, which will be sent before only. So it is highly recommended that if you sit for a process of a company, when the dates are scheduled for that company process. Maintain confidentiality about other company and recruiters. This is the last point. This doesn't happen very often, but there might be some company or representative who may ask what other companies are coming on board for on campus. So you cannot reveal that to them. You can tell them politely that as per our policy, we cannot reveal other companies and recruiters. You can tell them that because it is a policy. Now, these were the main key points to remember from our policy. Now, and the other points, you can go through them by scanning the QR code, which is on the PPT. Mehak, can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So everyone, you can scan this QR code and view our placement policy, or you can just take a screenshot and just scan the QR code whenever you wish to read the policy, if possible. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Jignesh Sawant, the Joint Chairperson of the Placement Cell. Now, we will be explaining you one of the most important part of the policy, that is the debar and default system. To begin with, I would like to make it very clear to each and everyone present here that all the pulse sessions that are being conducted by the placement team are very much compulsory for all the students to attend, those who have registered for the final placement. Failing to attend any two or more pulse sessions shall lead to the student being debarred from the whole final placement season, and the placement cell shall not be responsible for the same. Moving forward, as mentioned in the policy, the following debar and default systems shall be followed in the final placement process. As being a democratic student body, each student who defaults in a particular process, either by defaulting in an interview or in general during the process, through his actions or inactions, shall be given an opportunity to explain his or her reasoning for such default. The student shall have to provide true documents by backing their statements to to prove their innocence in order to remain in the process within the specified deadline. If not, it shall be considered as a default. The deadline should be strictly followed. Any response received post the deadline shall not be considered. One thing I would like to make very clear that furnishing false documents in your resume or on the Google form or on the company's portal will lead to directly the student being debarred from the final placement season. And not only that, in case an offer has been made to a student, that offer shall be directly revoked by the company. Even at times, the administration may have to take strict actions against the students depending upon the case to case basis. And hence, we highly recommend each student to proofread every document and every response before you fill and submit the form. Moving ahead, each part of the process is important for the student, that is you, and the corporates as well. Hence, it is mandatory for the students who register for that particular company to attend its pre-placement talk, interviews, and any other process that takes place. Failing to do so shall be considered as a default. Now, especially when it comes to an interview, any kind of misconduct, misbehavior, disrespect, non-cooperation, or anything which harms the reputation of a college such students shall not only be debarred, but may also be asked to provide a written explanation in front of the director or the principal. So I highly request you to please understand the seriousness of how well you behave in front of the corporates. Also, one thing I would like to mention here that the on-campus phase 1, that is one about to start, and the off-campus and on-campus phase 2 are a part of a single process. So being debarred in any of the mentioned processes will remove you from all the prospective companies coming over board. Also, I would like to make it very clear right now itself that any excuses on the basis of being club commitments, club meetings with any concerned authorities shall not be an admissible excuse. We highly feel that if you guys are not serious for your own placements, then neither should the college or the placement cell should be. We all are adults here and we expect this bare minimum efforts from each one of you present here. I would like Aditya to continue.
Hello, I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jignesh. So, Meg, can you just change the slide? Yeah. So, hi everyone. My name is Aditya Jain, and I'm the Joint Chairperson for the Placement Cell this year. And I'll be explaining you guys the repercussions of disregarding the placement policies. So, first of all, this is not advisable to go against the placement policy. But then, too, I'm explaining you the consequences, what can happen to you guys in case you default in any of the processes. So first, if we discover that any student has defaulted for any of the reason listed in the placement policy, the student will receive a default mail, which is the basic first warning mail. And I would also like to let you guys know that this is essentially your first and the only chance and the opportunity to not get debarred from the process. So that mail will contain a deadline for you guys to tell us the reason for your first default. And in case the placement cell does not find your reason valid, we'll consider you guys as your first default. Now, moving forward, which is the second default. So in this category, once the students again default for the second time, we will share you a mail stating that the student has been debarred from the internship process. Now, what do I mean by internship process is that you guys won't be able to sit for summer internship drive, winter internship drive, and the drives that goes on throughout your WhatsApp messages. Now, moving on to the third category, which is the third default. Once a student has the same attitude towards the placement process and he continues the same attitude, and he has defaulted for the third continuous time, then we'll send him a mail regarding that he has been debarred for the whole placement season. Now, the placement season includes all phase 1 on campus, phase 2 on campus, and also the off-campus companies, which basically means that the whole placement, you won't be receiving any companies till the time you graduate from the college. And the student shall only be eligible to sit for the placement again if he gets a letter signed by Naveen sir with stating a valid reason for his or her default. Mehak, can you just change the page? Yeah. Now, so we have here a lot of students, those who have not registered, and we have been receiving a lot of queries from students to open up the form. So again, we have opened up the form for today till 10 p.m. So all those who are interested for the phase 1 can register by clicking a screenshot of this picture and scan this QR code and fill up the form. Mac, change up the slide. So these are our social media handles and our email IDs. So I would highly recommend the students to first try to resolve your queries through these portals. And once your queries are not being resolved through this, or you are not satisfied with the answer that we have provided, then only try to contact the placement cell members. And now we have just opened up the forum for questions. So you can just one by one raise your hand if you guys have any questions, or you can just directly put it in the chat box as well.
Yes.
Yeah, Bhumi.
Yeah, so I have a few queries. I'll go one by one. Firstly, in the policy that it is mentioned about the time deadline that we have to be there 15 minutes ago. I have seen various cases that I reached the interview sessions more than half hour ago, but sometimes due to traveling issues and central line issues, we are not able to reach even after leaving the home for 3 or 4 hours ago. So what could be done in that situation in the final placement things?
So we will highly suggest you to take all these things into consideration while coming for the on-campus process, because we expect you to know how much time you will take to come to college, because college is a daily thing. So you must be having a tentative time that you will take to come here. And in case of any other emergency and anything, you should try to, consider such points and accordingly leave your house on time.
Okay, thank you so much for this. The other thing was about the offer letter that they have mentioned. So suppose if we have received an offer letter and we have some queries about that offer letter, if the company has changed the policies that they have mentioned us in the interview, but they have not written that on the offer letter, and we have reached out to the company, but they haven't responded us, or even the placement cell requires some time to respond. So will that lead to debug us from the deadline that we have not satisfied?
No, so I'll take this question. So in case you receive an offer letter and you're not satisfied with the conditions that the company has given to you, so firstly we'll look into this, and for this time you won't be get debarred because you have genuine reasons. So we'll check with the company that what are the changes in the offer letters, and once you're satisfied, then only you can confirm with the go ahead with the offer letter. Okay, but also I would like to mention one thing: unless and until they have changed anything specifically, a major change has been occurred in your offer letter, then only these things will be mattered.
Okay, thank you so
Okay.
much.
No problem.
Yes, Dhani, you can ask a question.
Hi. So I have a question. Ki suppose if a student gets selected from two companies, like suppose if I have applied for 3 companies and I've got selected for the 2 companies, let's say for an example. So for that purpose, if I receive the offer letter from both the companies and if I reject one and I select one, or if I reject both of them, so what will be the case in that if a student is selected from both the companies? Will it be not considered for the further placements, or what is the thing?
I'll take the question. So if you're selected for any company, the offer letter that you receive first, you have to take that. So there is no option of rejecting it. And in case of rejecting, you will be debarred from the further placement. So once you get selected in one company, you have to take the opportunity. So example, if you applied for 2 companies and you got selected in both of the companies, so you have to take up the opportunity that offered you the offer letter first.
Okay.
And after that, once you accept, you will not be given any further placement opportunities, as it is one placement per one student. So other students you should equally get the opportunity to apply for companies. So once you get selected, you have to accept it, and you won't be getting any further opportunities for the same.
So if I suppose it rejected, so like if I don't feel that offer is very good to me and if I reject it, so further I won't receive any mails from placement cell.
No. So rejecting the company will result in debar. As I said that if you're applying for a company, you should have all intentions of joining it. So you can't
Okay.
make up excuses later that I didn't want to join this company or don't like it that much.
Okay. Got it. Thank
And once you receive an offer from one company, you will automatically be removed from the process of the second company. So you won't even receive the offer from the second company only. Understood.
Acha, okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. Can I go on?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it's not, you know how it is. Not all the details are mentioned in the application process, right? Most of the things we come to know after we sit in the interviews, after we interact with the company representatives, right? So what if upon interacting with them, like they are interviewing us, it's a kind of two-way interview, right? Even I'm getting to know what's going on in the how it is, how the policies are there, what exactly is the work environment and stuff. So what if they interview me, they like me or select me or something, but after talking to them, I don't wish to be selected in that company during the after the interview. So would there be a pre-placement talk before sending the offer letter, or is it just interview and then offer letter?
So I'll take this. So what happens is कि first all the companies will have a pre-placement talk, and majority of the companies majority of the companies will also have a deregistration process. So let's suppose you know about pre-placement talk, right? So what happens in a pre-placement talk is that a company will come and they'll explain you the roles and stuff. And in case you have any queries regarding the role at that point of time or compensation related queries, so you can just talk to the company at that point of time. You can clarify all your doubts, and if you're not satisfied, then we'll circle out a deregistration form in which is eligible. And if you are not you're not opting to choose that role, then you can deregister yourself from the process. So don't sit for the interview then.
Okay, so that is pre-interview, right?
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
always pre-interview.
but that also depends on company to company. Not every company offers the deregistration process. So if you have actually applied for a company, make sure you have done your research before applying for the company. So like go through the like if you're applying for a let's say KPMG, make sure you have done your research about the company before you apply. So if KPMG doesn't offer the deregistration process, you'll have to sit through the process, and if you get selected, you'll have to take up the letter.
All right,
I would like
and
to add one more thing, that in the job description that will be provided with the company form, everything will be mentioned. All the details will be there regarding the profile, the CTC, the location, everything will be mentioned. And in the mail also, regarding the deregistration criteria will also be mentioned in there. So you can also check through that and make your decision accordingly.
all right, and would there be a talk post-interview before offer letter?
You mean to tell after interview and before offer letter?
Yeah, between that, would there be a talk?
In most cases that doesn't happen, but if it happens, we will let you know. And it is according to the company's process. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Aryan.
Yes. Yeah. Aryan.
Hi, good evening. My question to the placement cell is, suppose if I apply for a company, I register for its interview, and I go forward with the pre-placement talk and everything is done. But the duration between after the interview and before the offer letter. Suppose if I say कि मेरे को company समझ में आई, but after the interview I am like uh, I am still willing to not participate ahead. So if I inform the placement cell, even if I receive the offer letter, before receiving the offer letter, I want to get like cancel this and I want to go ahead with another company. So is that acceptable or will I be still debarred?
So your
See,
question was very similar to what Tisha asked. So I'm guessing the answer will be the same. That once you apply, there is no backing out.
But
You can only yeah.
even if I inform before receiving the offer letter, like my interview doesn't seem pretty much good from the company side. I am satisfied, but the company doesn't satisfy me. And before receiving the offer letter, I am informing the placement cell. So
So
still,
before the interview, you'll have all the information that you might need to actually decide if you want to apply for a company or no. So you can't decide on very small basis that I don't want to apply. So let's say for the job role, if the job role doesn't satisfy what you want, that will be mentioned before the company is sent to you. So when you apply for a company, I'm guessing the main things you see is the work culture. I'm guessing the job, the role that they're offering, the CTC that they're offering. So these all information will be already provided to you before you apply. So due to small reasons, you can't back out. And if they do offer you an offer letter, you have to accept.
Okay.
See,
Thank you.
what you're saying is just as good as you give the interview and then you say you don't want to get selected in the company. It is just as good as you rejecting the offer. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay. Thank
So
you.
before we pick the next question, Ria has a question. So she has mentioned that the bigger, better companies come first. So that is not how the flow works, Ria. What happens is ki we'll share you the flow, but it is not generally like the bigger company comes first. It's just ki we have given the company, so we do not give the company on the basis of priority on the basis of the CTT and stuff. It's all random, but we'll give you the flow so you can just check, which we'll release soon. So you can have a look for that as well.
Yash Punwani had asked a question on the chat box, but what if the second offer has better overall package? So that is what I mentioned, that first if you're selected in a company, you will not receive the offer from the second company only. Because you have to accept the first offer, and the second company will be told that you will be removed from the placement process. So you won't receive an offer only from them. I hope your query is clear.
And there are cases where, for example, if the aptitude test of the first company is going on, the second company will be circulated. So in such case, if you apply, you have to select the first company that selects you. There is a possibility that the companies will be circulated simultaneously. So at that time, the first company that offers you have to take it.
So
Yash,
Yash, you will, yeah, sir. Go on.
So Yash, we will share a proper job description with you before circulating the like you will get a proper schedule of the companies, and after that, the registration link along with the job description will be sent to you. In that, everything will be mentioned about the CTC, about the job role, about its location, and every detail will be mentioned. So you can decide accordingly and apply for that too.
Okay, thank you.
So Ria, answering your question, there is a thing that I know that there is a thing that if you don't keep applying, then you won't apply at all only, and for that fear, you won't apply for any other companies because you think that you will be selected first in a company where you won't, where you think that you will get for better opportunities in the future, but you don't want to, so you don't want to get selected in the earlier company. That happens, but you have to see that there is a risk criteria also. So you have to take risk and apply for the companies regarding that, and you have to do proper research and apply for the companies. We will be sending you a schedule as and when the companies keep coming to us every 15 to 20 days if possible regarding that. I hope that answers your question.
Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I had a question similar to Yash. It was the question like it was answered as if like that we'll get the job description, the location, and everything at once. But sometimes after the interview, also the offer letter might have a change in the stipend or the salary that we get. If we are not convinced with the stipend and the salary, otherwise the company is good, or everything job description is perfect, everything is fine. But the only thing that questions is the stipend and the salary, and that comes only after the offer letter, right? So what can be done if we don't want to take that job? Shall I answer this?
Yeah, go ahead, Jignesh.
Yeah. So basically, when you are talking about the CTC over here, the salary shall be mentioned in your job description itself. So before applying, you can consider CTC as a criteria for applying. And after getting selected, the placement cell shall make sure that your job description. Okay. And if the company fails to do so, then you have full right to reject the offer, and you shall not be debarred for the same. Fine, that is fair. Yeah. And suppose in case the company gives you a range of CTC, suppose the company says that the CTC shall be 3 to 5 LPA. We can consider the minimum one. Yeah. Even if you get 3 LPA, you will be able to reject the offer. Okay.
Dilpreet, you had mentioned in the chat box that you won't be able to attend offline sessions. So we had already sent you the pulse schedule before, and out of them, 2 are offline sessions and 4 are online sessions. So it's mandatory for you to attend at least like 5 sessions. You can't fail to attend 2 or more than 2 pulse sessions. The consequence is that you will be debarred from the whole final placement season. So it's better you come back to Mumbai and attend the remaining sessions.
Yeah, so Aryan, your question was what was the highest and lowest package offered in last year? You can check out our Instagram or LinkedIn profile, placements at the HR college. So kindly follow that also to get updates regarding the placement process. And you can check out the highest and the lowest package offered on that.
So there is this query in chat box. When will the placement process start? So the placement process has already started. What if someone gets a job offer through some other source? If you are getting job offer through some other source, then you need to inform the placement cell in advance so that we can remove you off from the mailing list.
Now, Yashra just said a CTC or in hand. So, CTC meaning is that cost to company. So, it will already include the in hand salary plus the other things that the company will mention, which will be mentioned in the offer letter regarding that. And so, when we say CTC, it means that it includes the in hand salary. And when we say in hand, that means you will get that amount in hand in the job description. I hope that answers your question.
And yes, the CTC, like the CTC part will be mentioned in JD, like the proper breakup of CTC will be given to you. Your in hand, your incentives and variables, everything will be mentioned.
Yeah, I would like to add over here that in most cases, the company usually does not give the breakup of the CTC. So it might be that some companies will give and some companies might not. So whatever information we have at our hands, we will provide the same to you. But you cannot be asking for any CTC breakup from us because we won't be having that information with us. So you can maybe discuss this once you get the offer. It shall be specifically mentioned in the offer letter.
Hema Ahuja, since you didn't you registered on Tuesday only, don't worry, you will receive the further updates from now on. If you have registered properly, you will receive all the updates on your email address. So there is no need to register again.
So, and also keep an eye on the junk and spam folder because mostly the mails go to that folder. So please keep an eye on that.
So we have received a question from Maitri, and she has said that she is doing an internship for 6 months. So see, Maitri, what happens is ki if you're doing an internship, that's not a big deal for us. You guys can do internship. It's just ki you have to, whenever we guys are telling you that we have an offline process, so you guys have to be there on time and have to attend the sessions, which are compulsory. And if failing to do so, you will definitely be defaulted for the first, second, and third according to the criteria. Then we have a Bhumi question that see, so location usually changes every year, so we do not have so if we share the previous year locations with you, so there might be a change in that, so we can't as a commit that this would be the location for this year as well.
The location will always be mentioned in the job description. So that will only be the location for that.
And you guys would be given 48 hours to review the job description and to apply for the company. So you'll have enough time to make up your mind that you want to apply or not. And Jatin, I'll again say just check our Instagram handle. You'll get to know what all companies we have collaborated with. So you'll get a better picture for that. Yeah, Kush, go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
So basically, I wanted to ask that I have my CFA exam next Tuesday. So it is very difficult for me to attend the pulse sessions offline. So what will be I'll try to attend online as much as possible because
See, so on your day, this is for all the CFA candidates. So if you guys have your this pulse and exam clashing on the same day, you guys can just share your admit card with us. So we'll give you the exemption for the day. But the day you do not have your exams, you have to attend the pulse.
But offline, it is very difficult to come because so many hours will be wasted.
Yeah, I understand. But the thing is that these things we are doing for you guys only to you guys get a better placement. Okay. So it's just for an hour or so. So you guys can, and now we only have one more pulse which is offline, and rest all of them we have tried to keep it online only. So you guys could preferably come to college for the one session, and for the remaining, if your exams are clashing with it, so you can share your admit card with us. We'll definitely give you the exemptions. Don't worry about that part.
Okay, thank you.
Hitasha Budwani has asked that if she can apply for 2 or more companies. Yes, you can apply for any number of companies you want. You can apply for 5 companies, you can apply for 10 companies. But if you get selected in any one of the company you apply, then you will be removed from the placement process. But if you don't get selected in the companies, then you can keep on applying and keep on sitting for the processes that you want after taking informed decision. See, as I said, Gunain Bhuryani, that you cannot reject the offer letter as per our placement policy. Even if there are any reasons, you cannot do that as per our placement policy. You have to be answerable to the director of the placement cell after that.
Anshul, the list of the companies will be shared by this week to you, and it will include everything, the profiles and the date of their process and the mode of process. But it could happen like before that we would circulate any 1 or 2 companies before sending the schedule.
See, so Diya Jain, so it depends upon the company. Sometimes when the on-campus process is done, the company announces that who all are selected. But sometimes after the on-campus process is done on day, then they take a few days to decide who they want to select, and then they send us through mail, and then we will inform you through the mail who all are selected. And during off-campus, you will be informed directly by the company will directly inform us after the interview regarding that.
Nandini, so if you're not attending any pulse session, you will get a warning on your email ID, and you will have to provide a valid reason along with a proof. So since you have provided your medical reason, so it's valid, you can provide a proof like medical certificate as a proof, and our team will approve that, and then you will be marked present for that session. But you have to attend the remaining sessions compulsory. So yeah.
Just a second, guys. I would prefer if the students will, unmute and ask their questions, because there is a possibility that in the chat box your questions might get missed and your queries may not be answered. So it will be better if you can just unmute and ask your questions.
You just raise your hands and we will let you know who can ask.
So Jatin has asked that what if 2 interviews are conducted on the same day? So Jatin, we keep everything this in mind, and then only we make the calendars, and then only we give dates to the companies. So, so there won't be any possibilities that 2 processes are on the same day. So don't worry about that.
Hi, I have a question, Aditya.
Yeah, Ansh, go ahead.
Acha, so listen, so as like in that meeting, they told us that they'll get back to us after a month, correct?
Hmm.
So after a month, if by chance also that for some reason there's not like we've not going to get selected, so then what are the processes are there? Like we'll have to sit for the placement again, or okay, we can apply elsewhere also, or it has to be compulsory through placement, sir.
No, so what happens is, let's suppose you did not get the PPO from Morgan Stanley. Okay. So what happens is, firstly, you will be eligible to sit for the placements. Okay. You won't get debarred or any stuff. And you will be receiving all the mails that the placement cell shares. You will be sitting for all the companies, whichever when you want. But in case you get selected, then you would be removed from the mailing list from the placement cell. Okay. So you won't be receiving any further companies from placement cell. You'll have to accept
Okay,
the
so
Morgan
I
offer.
don't have any other choice, right? Like I can't sit for any other company, right? Just to keep an safe
Yeah.
side option.
Yeah. No.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I've got a query on DM that if the company selects you and you have accepted the offer, when will be the joining date? Joining date would be after your graduation, like in the month of June and afterwards. And the next question is, what if I miss a pulse session because of internship or because of office? Missing Pulse session is not an option. You have to attend at least 5 sessions to be a part of the placement season.
See, so Manya Mehta, I'm pretty sure that since you are sitting for placements, you can take at least half a day off for offline or processes, and for online processes, you can at least take 1 hour to join and attend the pulse sessions or any other offline process like pre-placement talks regarding that. I'm pretty sure your internships would allow you to do that.
And just to add a point over here, that if you have attended yesterday's session and today's session, and then considering that all further sessions are online except the one to be conducted on 16th of August. So if you attend all the pulse sessions except for 16, you may not be debarred because you will be attending at least 5 sessions.
So the next the next session, which is offline, if we do not attend it, it's okay, right?
Given that you
Because
attend the other online sessions.
yeah,
But
online
if
is possible because as I told you, that all of them, even I had a few questions saying that they have CFA right now, and also they won't be able to come offline. So the other 4 online sessions, if they attend, they won't be debarred, right? It's fine.
Yeah, but you have to make sure that at least 5 pulse sessions are attended.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool.
Ria, you can apply for other companies through your external networks, but just make sure that if you get selected from any company through placement cell, then you will have to accept that offer from the placement cell. You can't reject on the basis of that, like you are placed from outside. You can't give this reason to us. Also, many students have asked regarding the pulse sessions. We'll again tell that you have to attend 5 pulse sessions. It's compulsory to attend 5 sessions. So just make sure you are in Mumbai or at any cost you attend these sessions. And please, guys, ask your questions by raising hands. Don't DM us. We might miss it. If there is any valid reason, you can submit a proof. You can submit your tickets or like hall tickets of the CFA exams, or you can submit any your travel tickets as well, your medical certificate as a proof. That will be considered.
But it is a suggestion that everybody attend all the pulse sessions because it is for your placements only. We have chosen that it will give you chosen expert trainers who will provide you trainings on how to sit for the interviews and for the processes of the company. So it is very informative and good for you to attend the pulse sessions. So I highly suggest to attend all the pulse sessions.
Yeah, Ria, go on.
Yes.
Yeah, just a recurring question to what I'd asked earlier. If I'm applying on my own and I get selected in one of those companies, and I'm also selected in one of the companies during the placement process, so then I can reject the placement process if it's like the other company is better, right? And I get debarred.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you debar at that point of time, also you will be answerable to Naveen sir. So it's up to you. You'll have to provide him a valid reason that you are departing. You got a better opportunity, and then it's up to him, right? We can't ever
But
directly
if it's
commit you
a,
anything.
yeah, sure. If
From
it's a
our
better
end, it's
opportunity, can I
yeah,
explain
yeah,
it to him that way? Or
yeah. You
Yeah,
can, you
sure.
can.
At the end
But
of
from
the day,
our
it's
end,
his final decision that is
yeah.
final and binding.
all right, okay.
Which suggests that you don't keep final placement as the backup option, because if you reject the offer from any company, then it impacts the reputation of our college.
Okay, got it.
Ria has asked that around what time will the interviews and PPT will start. So that will be conveyed to you in the mail itself. You will be given all the details regarding the mode of process and the timings prior in the registration mail. So there will be a schedule of that particular company on which day the company is going to conduct its process. And if there is any update from the company regarding the postponing of this process, then that will be also conveyed to you 24 hours before.
Answering the query of Tushar, since you have a very valid reason, you can mail us your doctor's certificate, and then you shall be considered for both the offline sessions. Yes, Ansh.
Yeah, so one another question I had is from the students last year. I've heard that whenever the company gets back to you, they give only a time frame of 1 day, to reply back. And if you miss that, they might not consider your application. So for any God forbid reason, there must be some emergency where we cannot, maybe don't check our mails or some issue is there. Can't the placement cell just help us in extending a few, limit because 1 day is a really short amount of time for just replying back because there can be any reason for we can miss the message or something.
You are talking about registrations?
No, I'm talking for the PPO which comes. So last year the students got only 1 day to reply if they want to accept the PPO or not. I'm talking about Morgan Stanley in specific. So because I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Okay.
So yeah.
So whenever it is possible from our end, we won't actually give such a short deadline. But whenever the company says so, we have to do it because once we get your confirmation, we also have to communicate it to the company, and it takes some time. So we usually try to avoid giving such short deadlines. But if the company requires your confirmation within a short deadline, then we cannot help.
Okay.
And in some cases, we also call the students if you haven't accepted the offer within the specified deadline. And even after that, if you fail to answer our call, then we cannot be held responsible for anything.
Okay, great. Thank you. I just wanted to know if there would be any call from your side. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Devendra, to answer your question, the phase 2 placement will start in November, so you will be updated about that. We have already explained that in the timeline slide. If you want, then we can show that again. Yeah. Can just someone share that same screen again?
Yeah, I'm sharing. So after November, the final placement process phase 2 and off-campus placements will start.
Any more queries?
Sahil, regarding a query, mostly the online pulse sessions will mostly be for an hour, but it can extend to an hour and a half or 2 hours, depending upon how the session happens.
So yes, there is no difference between both the phases. Both the phases are on-campus phases. It's just that there are some companies that starts the hiring later on, so we put them in phase 2. There are some companies that start the hiring now, so we have taken them into consideration for the phase 1. So there's nothing a difference between both the phases.
Hello.
Yeah, Satish.
Yeah, so I haven't attended the yesterday's session regarding the drafting a resume. So, are you sending any notes or the recorded version of it?
There won't be any notes or recorded version, but we shall be sharing a feedback form with you. Along with that mail, there shall be the PPT and sample resume format as said by Sir yesterday.
Okay, sure.
replying to Ansh's query. If possible, could you please give the start time and end time of remaining per session? Start time is, I guess, mentioned in the schedule, or else it was mentioned in the PPT, which was shown earlier. So you can refer that, and mostly it will go for 1 hour minimum. Mehak, please share the PPT again. Yeah, Ansh, you can refer it.
Yash, to answer your question, as Aditya mentioned earlier, if you guys want to get to know which companies come to hire at HR College, you can visit our social media handles like LinkedIn and Instagram. We have mentioned all the companies who have collaborated with us. And answering Amanur Raza's question, we highly suggest that you guys should not keep your final placement as a backup option against your MBAs, because it might be that you might get a MBA college that you need and then you might reject the offer. But in that case, at the end of the day, the reputation of a college is being affected, that students are rejecting the offer. And but as of now, it will benefit you that the company came, they hired you, they gave you a backup option. But for the future, the companies might not come to HR college because the students are backing out for such reasons. So do try to avoid it.
Yash, to answer your query, so if you get selected in phase 1, then you will have to accept that job offer and you will be removed from the mailing list of final placement season. So you won't receive any updates about the phase 2 companies. And
Just
Rajat,
adding. Sorry, go ahead.
second phase will be after holidays. You have asked that second phase will be after holidays, right? So second phase would start post Diwali from November onwards, and it will continue till March. The off-campus and the final placement phase.
So the
And
thing
also,
is that the process will not happen on the holiday that is given for Diwali. It will happen a day or before, or day before that. Can the process can happen, but on the day of Diwali, it won't happen. Like on the holidays assigned for Diwali.
so Yash has mentioned a question that what is off campus. So off campus placement is nothing, but it is basically a type of placement in which the process is done by a company. So usually on campus, what happens is the company comes to college and the whole process is done by the placement cell. And in an off campus company, you might have to visit to the company's office and the company will be officially in contact with you. And the company will only contact the placement cell in case they have any shortlist or selected students update. So there's not much of a difference.
And don't think that off-campus companies are bad. The highest CGC that was offered last year was given by an off-campus company. So the off-campus companies are pretty good.
Okay, please can you name the company?
You can check out our social media and our Instagram handle, our LinkedIn, to see which companies have collaborated with us.
Also, many students are raising concerns that would the process date clash with the exam dates. So we would ensure that it doesn't clash, but in case the time won't clash, this is that we would ensure.
Yes. Yes, Sahil, if you're not well and if you then you can share your medical certificate with us as a proof for not attending any session, and we will take that into consideration. But it should be a valid proof for that. Aman, regarding your query, we keep approaching new companies as and when they come. We are constantly doing that. So also you can check out our Instagram to check out the new percentage of companies. You can compare it with the other years also if you want.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
My query is like, I am an outstation student, so if the second phase started just after post Diwali, so I have to come back to Mumbai on 2nd or 3rd of the November. If I am there in the second phase, or the holidays of the college is like up to 13th of November. So my question is that the second phase will start after holidays or just after Diwali?
So to answer your question, since the college will be giving the holidays till a specified date, as you mentioned, so we cannot be having any offline sessions during that time because the college will be closed. And hence, all the processes will be happening online during that phase. So yeah, don't need to come to college during that time, but just after that, as and when the college starts, we will be starting with the offline process.
Okay, thanks, Jignesh.
Yeah, yeah, Isha.
Actually, I wanna ask, can you let us know the tentative dates, like from when we'll be starting with her, pre-placement talks and everything, like complete talks and everything.
So soon we will be starting with the circulation of companies within a day or two. And within the registration mail itself, it will be mentioned when will be the replacement talk and the interviews of that particular company. And accordingly, you can decide whether to apply it or not and take your decision.
Okay, so we'll be giving like a timeline to fill the form and all, right?
Yeah, the deadline to fill the form will be for 2 days, and the whole timeline of the process, like when will be the PPT and when will be the interview, it shall be mentioned in the registration mail itself.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
We have a question from Kavita, and I see people liking that comment as well. So, will the November placement process clash with CF exams? So, Kavita, as I told you, we look after everything: CF exam, then CAT exam, then our college exams and stuff, and then only we prepare our calendar accordingly. So, don't worry. According to the calendar that we have made, you won't face any problems while giving your CF exams. And in case you, let's suppose you clash, your CF exams clashes with this process, so you can just give your this admit card. So we'll give you the exemption for the same day.
Somebody said that, could you please explain off-campus placements again? So off-campus placements are placements where the company does the process from the start till the end. So, and we will just inform you that whenever the students are shortlisted or selected in that. But during on-campus, we will let you know the meeting links. We will be there for the pre-placement talks. We will be the link between the companies and you. And during the interview process also, we will be there to manage that. And when the selection also happens, we will inform you regarding that. So everything will happen through us in the on-campus process, but in the off-campus process, the company will directly contact you and do the process on their own, and will let us know if there is any update regarding that. We will only ask for the update. I hope it clears your doubt.
I would take Krishna's question. What if I decide to back off now from phase 1 and re-register myself in phase 2? Will that work? Yeah, it works unless you don't apply for any companies. If you do apply, then you need to attend the process as well. And if you are not sure of applying for any companies in phase 1, then yeah, you can register in phase 2.
And Krishna, you don't have to re-register for the phase 2. We consider the phase 1 students in the phase 2 mailing list as well. So you don't have to again re-register. I've got one query on DM that will the PPT will offline or online? So it depends completely on the company. They will decide the mode of process, and that will be shared to you prior 24 hours.
Just have a question from Priyanka that if we do not get selected from the placement cell and we apply by ourselves, and what do we need to do? So let's suppose you get selected by yourself by applying through outsource. Then what you have to basically do is, once you get selected, you just have to mail us that I have been selected for by this company for this profile with your offer letter, and then we'll just remove you from the mailing list, so you won't get any updates from the placement cell. And yeah, so that's the process that you need to follow once you get selected out of the placement cell. Yes, almost all your questions can be answered by watching our LinkedIn or Instagram handles.
If anyone has queries, then please raise hand and unmute yourself because it gets difficult for us to answer through chat box.
Hello, am I
Yes, you
audible?
can ask a query. Yes, you are audible.
No, I didn't had any query. So I just wanted to ask, have you guys taken the attendance for this session? Because I'm getting late and I have to travel by train right now.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. The attendance is constantly being taken by a team, so don't. But until the session is closed, just stay in the meet till then.
Okay.
Guys, no more further questions. It's better you clarify your doubts now rather than once we start the process.
Can you just let us know what's the average time we need to wait during the interview rounds? Because you have said that even after our interviews are done, we need to wait at the campus once every candidate has given their interview. So what's the average time we need to wait?
See, so it depends. So what happens is that some of the companies shortlist before their aptitude and interviews. So there are less number of people, but some of the companies directly come for the interviews only. Okay, so and what happens is that on campus companies you have to wait because the company sometimes or majority of the time give the result on the same day. Okay, so you'll have to wait till the end to get your result known that you're selected or not. Okay, so it's for you guys only. We ask you to wait, or else you guys just can leave also. But
Yeah,
it's better
because
for you.
many people stay far. Many people stay far. That's why I was asking. Yeah, got to know.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
majority of the time you'll have to stay because the decision on of campus companies, on campus companies come on the same day itself.
Disha has VM1 query that if I'm not happy or satisfied with the interview process in phase 1, can I remove my name from the mailing list by mailing to the placement cell? So, Disha, it's not compulsory for you to apply for all the companies which we send in phase 1. You can apply according to your interest. And if you're applying according to your interest, then if you make sure if you get selected, you will have to accept the offer. Okay, and answering your second query, is there a separate registration form for phase 2? Yes, there will be a separate registration form for phase 2. But if you have registered for phase 1, you will be carried forward to the phase 2. You don't have to re-register again.
Right, so all those students asking when will be the aptitude conducted and what are the tentative dates of interviews. So we, as I previously mentioned, we'll share you the schedule for all the companies coming in on board. In that, you will get every details about when is the aptitude, when is the interview, what is the CTC, what is the profile that the company is coming in. So just wait for this week. We'll share you the detailed schedule. And before that, we might also share one company before that, and post looking to it, you can apply to that company as well.
Kabir has asked, what if a person is not selected in phase 1, can they apply for phase 2? So Kabir, if you're not selected in phase 1 after applying to the companies, your registration will be carry forwarded to the phase 2 mailing list itself. So you will receive the opportunities in phase 2 also. You don't need to register again.
I've got some questions regarding the CFA exams. So we have taken into consideration the dates of CFA exams. They won't clash with any offline process, but it might happen there would be any online process happening on the same date, but it won't clash with your timings. Like suppose if on 23rd there is CFA exam and there is aptitude test of some company as well. So that would be accessible 24 hours and it won't clash with your CFA exam time.
Riya, can you tell me what exam you have to book? Yeah, so all the exams that will happen, competitive exams, we will make sure that it does not uh, collide with any other processes that will happen. So you don't have to worry about that.
And again, answering to Sneha's question, that is there any difference between phase one and phase two? So no, there's no difference between phase one and phase two. It's just that some companies start their process later in the phases. So we ask them to come in phase two, while there are some companies, they come in phase one. So we take them, they start the recruitment early. So we take them in phase one.
I would take Kaushal's question up. Some companies provide training before joining. So how would that be done? So it would be priorly informed if the training would be provided, and the training would be provided after your examinations. After your SEM 6 examinations.
And Kaushal, everything about the onboarding and the trainings would be conveyed to you directly by the company. So
Yeah, Divya. So what you have written is correct, that the company those conduct their process on campus, on college is considered an on-campus company, but this is partially true. We also have some of the on-campus companies that they might have their process online, but the thing is that majority of the on-campus. So what basically on-campus means is that the whole communication will be happening through us. Like the placement cell will be telling you shortlisted, when are your interviews, when are your aptly going to happen, and everything will be conveyed to you by us. The company involvement would be less, and the company involvement would become only after once you get selected by the company. Okay. Devya, again, I'm telling you, all the exams we do take consideration, and then only we make our calendar, and so it won't clash between any of your exams, be it actual science paper, be it CFA, CMA, CAT, or even college exams won't hinder you in between. Because we are also third year students and many of us are giving also competitive exams and stuff. So we make the calendar according to that only.
Answering to Naomi's question, if you are not selected in phase one, you would be carried forward to phase two. So you need not worry about it. And you would be provided with a schedule for both phase one and phase two companies.
Also, we can't disclose the phase one and phase two companies list right now because we are continuously approaching the companies. So even we don't have that which company is coming on board and which is not. Whenever we know that, we circulate those companies as and when they come to us. So it is not that the last time the companies that are come, they will for sure come this time also. Because it depends upon the company's hiring requirement. So also that also has to be taken into consideration. I hope that answers your question.
Any
Guys,
other
any other
questions
questions?
anyone have?
Oh.
So to answer Amanur Raza's question, if a student is not selected in the phase two, then as mentioned earlier, we also have off-campus placements. And to let you all know, even if you all don't get placed in the off-campus placements, post your graduations, we also do provide alumni placements to all the students. So once you are graduated, we will send you the alumni registration form and you can register for the same.
Okay, so thank you to the speakers for this insightful session. It was very informative and helpful. I would also like to extend our vote of thanks to our principal, Dr. Pooja Ramchandani, and our associate professor, as well as director of the placement cell, Dr. Naveen Punjabi, for their support and guidance. Students request you to fill the feedback form link present in the chat box. Thank you everyone for joining.